Hello, it's Eric from VFX Tools. Let's go over some Alembic rules that you can follow to have success with Rapid. All right, rule number one. If you're using an Alembic file that was exported from Blender, that needs a frame offset of 1 because Blender starts on frame 1 unless you purposely put it on frame 0. So here's Blender. You can see it generally just starts at frame 1. I think you can make it start at frame 0, but default 1. So then to make that cube move on your first frame, you would need to change this frame offset over to 1 instead of 0. Now, if you were using Cinema 4D, that starts on frame 0. So for that same sort of thing, you would change that frame offset to 0 because it's starting at the 0 frame. It's pretty easy to match that up. When you bring your wireframe in, you can tell if it's moving at the right time. All right. In Blender, it will automatically pull in the right field of view or amount of zoom on your camera. In Cinema 4D, the export settings are different, and it doesn't include the field of view. So what you want to do in Cinema 4D is you need to name your camera with the field of view, and that's the horizontal field of view. So FOV, the number, and then you also need to name it _cam, and that way Rapid will be able to pick it up. Now, I haven't tested this with all the other DCCs, like Houdini, for example. I know that Alembic files coming out of Houdini do work, but you'll have to let me know. And in Cinema 4D, zoom doesn't work. Let me come back in 1 second and find out if zoom works in Blender. All right, we're back, and zoom does work in Blender, as you can see here. So that's great. Let's go back to our other rules here. If your file is not working, I would say bake it out to keyframes. One way I found of doing that is if you export it to FBX, then bring the FBX in and export that to Alembic. It will have baked everything out to keyframes, and then it should work. There's ways of baking out to keyframes in Blender and C4D. I'm not that good at 3D. I'm sure you can figure it out. Where is that in Blender? Animation, bake action, I think works. Again, I don't know, man. Frame offset if the 3D file starts at a different endpoint. So some people track their files, like some people do Key Tools Head Tracker, and they'll start their tracks at frame 1001. In which case, you can use, oops, I started the wrong After Effects. In which case, you can use the frame offset setting inside of Rapid right here. So you could change that to 1001. That would be your start frame. That would work great. What else do we have here? When you are having vendors track, this happened to me once. A vendor tracked footage for me, and they started from the source timecode frame of the file, and that was somewhere in the millions. So when I went to do the frame offset, I couldn't get there. I couldn't find the start frame. It was so far out. So ask them to either start at frame 0, frame 1, frame 1001. That way it's a known quantity. If you follow these rules, then the Alembic files should work fine in Rapid. Let me know if you have any questions. Eric at thevfxtools.com. I hope this helped. Goodbye.